Hello everyone, Scott here from Pillow Partners and welcome to this week's Pillow Talk podcast. You guys that watch me every week know I get excited when I have guests in person here. So super excited to be joined today by Scott Fensome. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and we're going to have a really interesting conversation here. We're going to see where it goes. But two main topics I'd like to cover, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself first.
Yeah, so my name's Scott and probably a little bit different from the normal guests. I don't have a property business, but I have a e-commerce business, which I've been doing for 3 or 4 years. Pivoted a few times in that, but always stayed in the e-commerce world. We now mainly deal with Amazon, our own website, which is WooCommerce, and eBay. We're all about e-commerce, so we buy from Amazon, we sell to Amazon, we buy on eBay, sell on eBay, all of that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a different conversation today, and I'm sure lots of questions are going to come up. But yeah, that's the summary.
Perfect. Now, Scott is a very, very successful entrepreneur. Your sister actually works, she's part of the Pillow team. And when I first met Scott, I was at a business conference down in London, and your sister Chloe said, my brother's just starting off in business and he would love to come along to the event. Turns out that he's just as successful as me. So I'm sitting next to your sister's pitched you as, he's starting a little business.
Yeah.
Turns out he's an amazingly successful entrepreneur, very, very good at what he does. So guys, if you're watching this, it's going to be a very, very inspiring story. We normally, Pillow Talk podcast, we talk about property, but we also talk about business mindset, entrepreneurship, time management, health and well-being, and sales and making money. So we're going to cover a couple of topics. I want to learn in this one. So when we first met, it was your business in e-commerce, and that has pivoted slightly. I don't watch a lot of TikToks, but the algorithm works very well that I just see Scott's content every day on TikTok. So tell us a little bit about the e-commerce business that you started and then how it's changed. So starting off, your e-commerce
So
business.
I think when we first met, I was just coming out of eBay dropshipping, which is when we did the same as a lot of people at the time, which is kind of like the easy e-commerce method that a lot of people jump to, which is where you don't actually buy something. You facilitate a place for people to buy things, and then you have a supplier that will ship the product directly to the customer. And that's really great when you're getting started, because you kind of get to know all the software, you get to know your customers, but the margins are really, really slim.
Yep.
Because there's so much competition, everyone's taking a little piece, and there's so many points of interaction. And so we did, I think in our first 18 months, we did just over like $1 million in sales. But we made next to no money after everything was settled.
Yep.
And so that's when I actually met you, kind of at the same point. And we went to that business event, and that actually opened my mind up quite a lot of like a lot of the things that they said there. You know, not focusing on one part and making sure that like one platform isn't 100% of your sales and stuff like that. And it got me thinking loads, and that's when we started to change things. So that's when we started to sell on Amazon directly. And then from there, we thought, well, we don't want Amazon to be all of our source of income. So we'll start selling on eBay as well. And then eBay started going really well, and we thought, well, we don't want it just to be eBay and Amazon because we don't own those things and they can control our sales. So we then built our own website, and now we sell on that as well.
Nice.
So now I feel like we're in a comfortable position where we can branch off of that and make different websites, and we're just going to keep going until we don't really have to rely on Amazon and eBay. Although they are massive fish in the game, we don't really want all of our, or even over 50% of our money coming from those sources, because they do have the control at the end of the day.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Again, we'll equate that back to property. If I think of during lockdown, Booking.com and Airbnb, who get you using Amazon to sell stuff. We are selling units on Airbnb and Booking.com. These guys could just shut your listings down instantly, and during lockdown they did shut down. So if they didn't like if Amazon said we don't want to promote you anymore, we're going to shut you down, that's people's businesses gone.
Yeah.
And many people's Airbnb businesses were gone. If you just do Airbnb, guys, and they don't like your listing or it falls below a certain level, or their algorithms have scraped your social media and said, well, we no longer want to put your listing because of some political affiliation, which is happening, then your business is gone. So if you can't sell your holiday homes, or you can't sell your products, so very, very smart move to own your own channels. When your sister said, oh, my brother does e-commerce, that in my mind was the kind of fulfillment by Amazon, and there was a 3-4 year period there before lockdown. I think probably from 2017 to about 2021, where that was all the rage. People selling courses about fulfillment by Amazon, drop shipping. You don't own it, and it just happens mystically. You never have a warehouse, but you have a proper business with a warehouse. Because physical real estate excites me.
Yeah. So when we branched off into eBay, what we did is we started. We wanted to do something that not anyone was doing or talking about, right? I mean, I was always interested in like auctions because that you can run the numbers, you can get the best data, and you can make purchases based off of numbers instead of like a feeling.
Yep.
But like really good numbers as well. So I love looking at data and like making decisions off of data. So when we did that, we thought we're going to buy Amazon liquidation. So we can buy liquidation straight from Amazon, and I know what the retail prices of all the stock I'm going to get.
Yep.
I know the conditions, so I can put the conditions of product damage, customer return, warehouse damage into percentages, and off of that roughly work out how much I'm going to make before I've even bought it.
Yep.
Because I know how much I'm going to sell it for. And then we can run timescales and stuff like that. So when we started doing that, we only bought one pallet at a huge premium, because if you buy one pallet, it's a huge premium because you've got all the shipping costs involved, all the labour of everything in between. But we did it anyway, and we bought it, and we didn't actually buy it from Amazon. We bought it from John Lewis.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was interesting because like I had this pallet turn up, and it was like a load of stuff I've never seen before, like expensive suitcases, and like it was really good stuff, and I was shocked. And so we listed it on eBay, and it was really good. It sold within like a month, and we made £200-300, right? Which isn't a lot when you put into the fact that time in a month, but you have to take into account that if you scale that up like largely and make it efficient, then you can start making some serious money. So we made the decision to actually rent somewhere in Newcastle first with my previous business partner, Rob. He lived in Newcastle, so it was really convenient because the prices obviously in Newcastle compared to Portsmouth, where I live, is dramatically different. So we rented this was really good. So this was about a 12,000 square foot warehouse, so huge. And they were renting off sections in the warehouse. And there was some main guys that took half of it who were the owners of the warehouse, or they were renting it. It was allowed, it was all contracted up. And we just started off with a little like 300 square foot section. And I think we were paying like £150 a month, bills included.
Nice.
And then what that allowed us to do is buy 6 pallets, get a slightly discounted rate, start to work out our processes, and then move from there. And so when we did that and it was all good, we then just added a section, so another 150 to 300. And then we did that for about 6 months until we got to 1,500 square foot. And then that was the amount we could take because the rest was filled. And that's when we started to have issues because we then wanted to grow more, but we couldn't. Anyway, so Christmas was coming up. We were kind of in Q4, and because we had these growth issues, we kind of had a decision to make. So me and my business partner then decided to go our separate ways. So I bought him out of that business. So I obviously still have the same one, and then moved the operation down to the south, where we invested in a 6,000 square foot warehouse, which was obviously a dramatic increase from 1,500. And that was, a lot of people would kind of saying I'm silly for doing that. I shouldn't be taking a risk that high. And it is a risk, but I don't have any liabilities. So if something goes wrong, it's just me that I hold myself accountable. There's no one else I have to worry about. But the risk, in my opinion, is worth it because one of James Sinclair's recent videos, Scale Economy, when you can do something on a larger scale, everything becomes cheaper. Because we could have way more stock turn up, we got better shipping rates. We got better rates on shipments. So instead of taking 6 pallets, we're now taking 23 pallets, full truckload. We can order stuff more consistently, which means we get more discounts. And we've got staff which can run efficiently in the warehouse. We've got systems set up. We've got dedicated tables for prepping, for unpacking, for orders. We've got better shelving. Everything becomes more efficient, so you make more money per product. It's just, so that's how we got to that. And I'm happy where we are now. We haven't filled the warehouse yet, but we will by the end of the year. So it's scary to think where I'm going to go after this.
Fantastic. And some key nuggets there. The thing I love about that is getting a business that your costs can scale up incrementally rather than going from a warehouse that has a couple of pallets to the big jump to the 6,000 square feet, which if you're not making money. So doing this type of thing and just scaling up. Listen, we're in the centre of excellence here. We started working from home, windowless box. Took us 18 years to get to where we are now. But even for us, we couldn't afford a lot of the software and bits and bobs. It's only because we've scaled up that we can afford to get the best bits, the best software, the best team, the best technology. But a lot of our competitors can't do that because they're smaller. So something to be said for scaling up and testing the business model before you start committing to the high costs. The last nugget here, guys, is many people would have been happy staying with I've scaled up to where I can in Newcastle, and I'm not going to take that next big step because people are saying, it's a risk. Why are you not happy? You should be happy with what you've got. So what made you make that jump from safe to...
My old business partner, which was still very mutual, he stayed there. So he's still there renting that 1,500 square foot space.
Yep.
And he does fine. It's just him, but he's also living in Newcastle. And I mean, that satisfies him. So that's where we had to kind of go our separate ways, because I want to build a business that I can sell for 50 million.
Yep.
I can't do that out of 1,500 square foot. I need 50,000 square foot.
Yep.
So with that in mind, obviously I'm 24, so I've got plenty of time to work my way up, take risks, and make mistakes. And I don't think he was in the same mindset as me. So that's what made me change. I always want to build a business that I can sell.
Yep.
And if I can't sell that, then there's no point. And you can't sell a business until it gets to a certain size anyway. I mean, it's got to do over $1 million in sales. You've got to have processes set up that you can walk away from and they still go. You've got to have contracts up. If you have contracts set up that are in time, then you've got a sellable business. You've got so much stuff there. And you can't do that without scale because you're not going to get the contracts. So it all ties together. So it's just taking the initial risks.
Definitely.
So that's what made me move. But obviously, I was fortunate enough to get the warehouse where I am, but it's not too expensive. But compared to Newcastle, it's still expensive. It's nice and cheap there. I do miss that. But I couldn't handle the cold in the winter, unfortunately.
No, so it's a lot different. You might have missed that, guys, but Scott's 24. Nearly 20 years younger than me, but is knocking out business principles that people 20 years older than me. I know many people that have been in business 3-4 decades that don't get that. The more turnover your business had, the higher the multiple you're going to get, the more economies of scale. And building a business based on, we call them shelf life businesses. So if we take it back to property management business like Pillow, we can get a certain amount of management agreements, revenue, then get a multiplier for that. That's how we manage the business. We'll talk about TikTok in a second. I'm documenting my journey to £100 million business valuation, but that couldn't be done just in a small office regionally where we are. So very, very smart what you are saying. So I want to come on to social media in a bit, but one of the things you've done, obviously selling, what's your core business? What's the core way of making money?
So our core business is buying liquidation and redistributing it, whether that be back onto Amazon, where it came from originally, eBay, or through our e-commerce website via mystery boxes or via pallets. So the mystery boxes are basically, it's a little bit difficult to explain because people obviously get a misrepresentation sometimes because there's a lot of companies out there that kind of are a bit shady. But our mystery boxes are basically stock that are in the pallets condensed down into boxes. The stock actually turns up in boxes, which is what I unbox on my social media. But the problem with those boxes is they're half filled. And so we have set size boxes for set prices and we just chuck stuff in there. And so you can get anything. They're completely random. They're not categorized. They're not put into ages. They're not gender specific or anything like that. You'll get a kettle, or you'll get some protein powder, or you can get some glasses for your table. I mean, it is really random. And so people like to buy those for a few things. Some people buy them for like birthday presents. Some people buy them and take the stuff to the car boot. Some people Facebook Marketplace the electronics. Some people, when they move into a house, they've bought one, they'll get like a toaster, they'll get like a kettle, and then if they get like 2 kettles, they'll just sell one of them and then buy something else. Now, all these products are obviously customer returns, they're all liquidation items. And the stuff we're putting in the boxes, we don't check it at all. So like, I don't pack the boxes, the team packs the boxes. We don't have enough time in the day to be able to take something out of the pallet, check it before we put it into the box. It comes out the pallet, it goes into the box. We fill the box up to the top, we close the box. It can't be over 15 kg
Yep.
because of our shipping, but that's the only thing that we check. So that's the boxes through the website. We also sell pallets, and we have sold pallets to people that do car boots. So we sold like a homewares pallet full of like blankets, heated blankets, stuff like that, pillows, kind of a lot of the stuff that I donated here.
Yep.
And the particular lady that bought that, she did really well. I think she bought the pallet for like £300 off the website, including the VAT, plus shipping. And I think she made like 1,500 quid at the car boot, which she was like really happy with. It took her like 3 car boots.
Yeah.
She was like, because she reached out to me and sent me a few voice notes. She was like, I'm a single mum, this was really fun. I really enjoyed doing it. And I was like, it made me feel really good actually.
Yep.
And then obviously a few other people have bought them because you can resell the stuff via eBay, which is obviously what we do as well.
Yep.
So people, when I say that, they get a little bit confused. They say, why would you sell the stock via the mystery box or pallets if you also sell on eBay? And people instantly jump to the conclusion, you're taking the best stuff. It's just not true.
Yep.
I do not have the staff or the right correct efficiency to go through everything as fast as I want.
Yep.
We had 60 pallets. We had 68 pallets at the start of the month. And they're all gone in this month. And I didn't think that was going to happen. And if we just listed all the items on eBay, because you've got to take the items out, test them, take photos of them, you've got to then list it on eBay, you've got to then sell it, pack it, ship it.
Yep.
All those processes take so much longer than just putting it in a box and selling it to one customer.
Yep.
That it just makes it far more efficient to sell the stock off as one,
Yep.
even if you are selling it way lower than what you should be, because there's perfectly fine items in there that people get. So it's all about getting product out quicker and even taking less of a margin so we can get a higher turnover.
Definitely. And then you've got more customers
Exactly.
coming back to you, buying more.
And from different avenues, because you're not having eBay, then you're having the website as well. So you're mixing it.
Cool. So if there's people, that lady made 1,500 quid from car boot sales from buying your product, your mystery box. So anybody out there, it reminds me of Gary Vaynerchuk always saying buying stuff like baseball cards, going round car boot sales, buying stuff, searching for items in shops that are collectibles and selling it for more. And he advocates every single person, young person should have a hustle, should be doing that, should find their niche. So anybody watching that thinks, well, I'd love to be in business, but can't have premises, don't have, I'm not an architect, I don't have a vocation. Nice and easy to get some mystery boxes, sell them on, even put them up on their own e-commerce stores.
Oh yeah, well yeah, definitely. I mean, what if people are generally interested in doing that? My advice would be to go to a car boot, get out Google Maps or Google Chrome, sorry, take a picture of an item with Google Chrome, and it will instantly show you how much that item's worth.
Yep.
And they'll take 50p or a pound for a car boot. This is how people start e-commerce. This is how a load of people start e-commerce, and that's their like entry point, because it's really low cost, and you can find stuff that's really expensive. My dad told me a story once, and I'm not sure if he's going to like me sharing this, but I'll share it anyway. And I never knew this. He told me like last year. So quite a few years ago, he lost his job. He was in his job for quite a while, like 15 years. He lost his job, right? And at that point, my family were kind of struggling, and this was like when you didn't have smartphones, you just had normal phones. You couldn't get internet on your phone or anything like that. And he walked into a charity shop looking for things that he could sell on eBay from his computer, taking a photo of it with an actual camera, uploading the photo. Imagine how long that would have taken back then. He went into this charity shop and saw this suitcase, and he thought, oh, that looks like a nice suitcase, and it was like 20 quid, like a leather one. And he thought, I could probably sell that for more on eBay. And so he took a picture of it with a camera in the shop, went home, uploaded it to his computer, then Googled it, and it was like a 500 quid case. And so he went back to the shop, instantly bought it, and then went back home and sold it, and that was our Christmas present money for the year.
Nice.
And when he told me that, I was kind of like, people could have been doing this ages ago, and I was like, that's such a cool thing to know that you did, and now I've kind of like moved into this. It was a really kind of like a heartwarming story. I couldn't really believe that he did something like that.
And it's obviously paid off.
So
paid off.
Yeah, and anyone can do that. Charity shops are still good for that, and that's how people start. And loads of people do it on TikTok as well. It's really fun to watch. So
when you sell your business for 50 million, which is your plan, you need to give your dad some of that money, because he did it.
He was the entry point.
Scott mentioned we turned up one day and I had a massive pallet outside. We couldn't get it through the door, but your company donated to us when we started the Safe Havens charity here. And that leads me to that little charity centre there. Well, not a charity shop, but just think of a mini a mini Salvation Army donation centre. And that mystery box came here and we opened it and thought, right, there's a memory pillow, there's a kettle, there's a coffee grinder, kitchen utensils, loads of stuff. And we just kind of priced that. It was a charity shop, so we got a £5 for that. That's quite nice. But that box probably, if I put a number on what that big massive pallet, big square pallet, a couple of thousand maybe, if we'd have sold that.
Between 15 and 2,000 probably.
So even didn't go for the low, 1,500 quid. Now, we didn't price that up. So if anybody comes to our centre and happens to just, everything there is donations from people and it's brand new. There's a thing that had the price of 80 quid on it. We're not going to charge it because it's things. So somebody could buy that for £10, but the price is £80. There's some collectible stuff there, and that's just we're a property management company that happens to have a charity. We collect all the stuff that guests leave in properties and resell it. So even in that little shop, there's probably thousands and thousands of pounds to be made. I'm not saying you come and buy all the stuff at our charity shop, but it's amazing where you can go and get those bargains. People just want rid of stuff out their house.
Well, it's also kind of like a bit of a mindset. It's really good to practice to see value in something, I think, because if you don't know, then like if you can go into a charity shop and you can look at something and see value in it, then you don't just see value in products, but you can see value in lots of things. You can see value in a person. You can see value in going to an event. You can see value in so many things. But if you don't have the initial mindset of seeing value in something, then you kind of don't open yourself up to the rest of it.
Very deep.
It's like value coming here, you know?
Yeah, and you're just very quickly, you're off to do a nice personal challenge. You're leaving here to go and do Ben Nevis tomorrow.
Yeah, Ben Nevis tomorrow in the rain. So I've bought my rain Mac, and that's about it. No, someone told me I should wear walking shoes, but I've put trainers on. So
we'll be fine for Ben Nevis. There'll be what we call them Neds in Scotland. There'll be Neds with a can of Tennants and a bottle of Buckfast, just taking it in their stride. So a few more questions in e-commerce, then I want to move on to TikTok because you're very, very successful in that, and I take my lead from you on TikTok. The buying pallets, and I looked at this many years ago when I was looking for an exit plan to leave the Royal Navy. And it's a solid career as a young kid, and I was 18. And I thought, the armed forces are not for me. And back in the days, you'd buy them, they'd get delivered to hotels in a pallet, and you'd sell them and hopefully make the margin. So that was my original business plan when I was 17, 18. That was my exit for the Navy. And I never quite did it. But I looked at that and I couldn't understand at the time, well, how can we make enough margin? Why would these companies sell... You'd buy a pallet for £1,000 and sell it for 5,000. That roughly the numbers, and that was many years ago, 20 odd years ago, 25 years ago, and I couldn't get my head around why these big companies, it was catalogues, Littlewood's catalogues and Index catalogues, why would they sell that so cheap and not just sell it back themselves? So why? There's obviously margin to be made. Why did Amazon sell these at such a great discount? What's the purpose? Is it speed and economies, like you said?
If you buy a single pallet, you're not buying it from a direct source. It's probably gone through 3 or 4 different places before it's got to you. Each one of them has added a margin on.
Okay.
So you're actually buying that at a bit of a premium compared to if I can buy a whole shipment from Amazon directly.
Yep.
So there's the instant discount. It's just on scale. The reason they liquidate these items can be multiple different reasons. They can be overstocked. They can, so let's say Right Guard are changing their packaging, which they did, right? They'll liquidate all of the old packaging, which could be 20,000 units, straight into liquidation. And they might sell some of those off privately. They might auction some. They'll distribute them out across the country, but they will get rid of them. And they do that with thousands of lines every month.
Really?
And they do it with so much stuff that if something's scuffed in the warehouse, so you have some Beats headphones, they could be 500 quid, right? And they fall off a shelf. Instantly goes into liquidation.
Yep.
Because the box has got a tiny, tiny little dent on it.
Yep.
So that's some of the reasons, which accounts for quite a lot of it. And obviously you do have the customer returns as well. But if they get a customer return and it's like in certain categories, like any kind of like food stuff, you won't get a customer return in that category. So it kind of limits it down anyway. So you're always getting good quality product. They've got too much money. they haven't got the processes to be able to do it. It's not worth them paying their employees to go, because they're at the point where they overcomplicate processes now.
Right.
If they had to go through all that stuff, it would take them so many different steps to be able to resell it.
Yep.
And where would they sell it? They wouldn't be able to resell it back onto Amazon, which is their marketplace. So they'd have to auction it off anyway. So they might as well just do it as one lot and just get it gone. It makes more financial sense for them to do it.
Yep.
So,
and that leaves them, rather than them making the margin, they're probably losing money just to get the time back. But that then opens up the margin for you and whoever you sell it onto, or getting an amazing price at the back end if you're buying a mystery box.
Yeah, exactly.
So talking about mystery boxes, in fact, I'm going to ask one question here. So there's a question in from YouTube. Are there any resources, mentors, influencers that have significantly shaped your approach to business?
Yeah, it was. It was James Sinclair.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because you took me to that opened my eye. I didn't even like watch people before we went to that, and then we watched that, and I haven't stopped watching him since. And I've watched other people as well, but he makes the most sense. I think because he lives here, he's kind of local to me as well. His businesses make really good sense. You know, he started from a literal baseline position of being a teenager.
Yep.
It's just everything he says is so logical. It's just. So yeah, James Sinclair, big influence.
And we mentioned at the start that's where we met. And I every time I buy a thing, I'd always get an extra ticket, and I'd always donate it to. I always buy an extra ticket and put it out on Facebook or whatever to say, listen, if anybody wants to nominate a young person that can't afford a ticket, then let me know when somebody can tag along. So I always get 2 or 3 tickets for any national event. So guys, if you're watching this, keep an eye open for the social media, because everywhere I go there will be free tickets. And your sister worked for us. My little brother, he's starting off in business, and we met, and it turns out you've had a very, very successful business, but your sister got you that free ticket.
She downplayed
it, so I'm like, how's your little business going, Scott? And then you told me about it, I was like, that is an amazing business, and it's got an amazing future, and you were scaling up then. But that just goes to show that was part of what we do at Pillow with the social impact, but that is good that had such a massive impact. And James Sinclair, great entrepreneur, got a very good YouTube channel, gives away lots of free content.
Yeah, very good.
And if you're watching this, give us some free tickets for giving you a shout out, James.
That'd be fantastic.
So yeah, by the way, just as much as this is free content, if you're looking to get into e-commerce and this is great free content. This will be on YouTube, and listen, this could be your £50 million business, but there are people out there very successful like James Sinclair. All these entrepreneurs, when they get to a certain level, give content away for free just to help build a profile. So there's pretty much content there for everybody. So great question whoever asked that. But guys, free content out there on YouTube. It makes sense for entrepreneurs to start putting themselves out as experts. It may take years, but they will get business out of that by sitting giving half an hour of their time to talk to you. Today, you will get business, not necessarily for this, and that's not the purpose of these, but somebody will come across this video in a year's time and end up recommending you, buying you. So entrepreneurs give out free stuff, like university courses, like PhDs, MBAs worth of stuff out there online. So thank you for asking that question. I'm going to move over to TikTok because it's a platform that I'd listened to Gary Vee's new book called Day Trading Attention, and the first chapter was the TikTokification of social media, and things are changing, and I was 4 years too late to TikTok and probably don't utilise it enough, and we're recruiting at the moment for someone to help us with that. But you do very well on TikTok. So talk us through, starting off in TikTok, where you are and the cool stuff you do, because the algorithm just shows me your stuff. Every time I log in, it just keeps showing me your stuff. So tell us about what you do on TikTok.
I think I'm in the same boat as you a little bit because, again, I'm 4 years too late. I mean, I purposely avoided TikTok so that I didn't want a distraction. I saw everyone getting really addicted to it, and I thought the last thing I want to do is shorten my attention span and have another app that my brain just instantly focuses to when I go on my phone. And luckily, even though I now have TikTok, that doesn't happen because I don't really enjoy the TikTok videos. I don't find it gives me what I want. It doesn't give me any informational videos. I do prefer YouTube. That being said, so we downloaded it at the start of the year, and we actually didn't post on TikTok first. We posted a long format video of us unpacking a pallet, which was an hour long, onto YouTube. And that did like 1,500 views on like a pretty newish channel. And I was like, oh, that's really good. And then we did some like background research into mystery boxes, liquidation pallets, Amazon liquidation, which is a really hot topic. I mean, quite a few years ago, it was an even hotter topic, but now it's still a hot topic. So if you do that, it's almost like it's guaranteed views because it's just interesting.
Yep.
And then so we were like, okay, we'll make some short format. We'll see how that goes. And I just started doing some TikToks, and I uploaded my first video, and it went up to like 200 views, and I got really excited. And I called my sister. I was like, "It's 200 views already." She was like, "Don't worry, that happens to everyone."
Yeah, you get
and I was like, "Oh,
300.
thanks for ruining my day." And so we did that, and so I was making TikToks for a while, and it was slowly increasing, and then I was posting like 3 or 4 TikToks a day of me just unpacking mystery boxes, and people were commenting saying this is really therapeutic. I really enjoy watching these. I don't know. I can't wait to see tomorrow's ones because we get such an array of stuff. I mean, Amazon have like hundreds of thousands of lines, and we can have every single one of them in the pallets. All can be completely different. So when we're unpacking the boxes, it is interesting. Like I shock myself sometimes at what we pull out. Like this tripod, that came out of a pallet. These microphones came out of a pallet. So I get things that are quite interesting. So it interests me, let alone the people watching. And so it started building and building. Then we started getting influencers involved. When they started getting involved and buying, their viewers were obviously coming over to our TikTok. And then it just started pushing sales from there onto our website, which I think is massively powerful. And I completely underestimated how powerful TikTok can be. And now I see that, I want to full steam ahead at TikTok and other social medias as well, including YouTube and Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, and like I say, I'm far too late for it. And I set a target to myself. I made a rule: I'll never watch a TikTok. We will do it because the team did it. It's actually your sister Chloe that, and I says, Scott, do this TikTok. I'm not doing it, and I've refused. You'll never see me in TikTok. Fuck that's for kids. I'm not embarrassing myself doing daft dances. And then your sister started selling some staycations and getting our clients' properties away and selling staycation deals. And I said to Chloe, listen, stop asking me, but I'm an entrepreneur. I'm no a serious entrepreneur. I've got fucking funny socks and shoes. I'm no dress smart. I'm no stuffy. It's no corporate business. But I'm not getting involved in TikTok because it's just kids' nonsense. But when your sister started getting our clients, making money for our clients, selling staycation deals, I went from I'm not doing that to doing daft dances on TikTok. I'm doing the fun stuff that people wanted to watch with the team because it was my job as the founder of this business to do everything that I could to help our hosts get bookings. So when we started making I don't mean making money, but having been more than just, I'm doing it for vanity to make silly voiceovers. When we started applying it for business that earned our clients money as a property management company, if we can increase occupancy, increase rates and increase length of stay and decrease the Airbnb costs of it's like you have your own channel, taking out the 15 or whatever % for Amazon. Well, if you can get your own direct business from your website and your TikToks, it makes sense. So it was in my duty. So your sister started doing that. So we started applying that and making TikToks. So I have no interest in watching TikToks, but your algorithm comes up and I find myself the only TikToks I've watched, sorry for anybody else that follows me, is your unboxing.
Well, I watch your TikToks, and I think that because I remember when you first started posting them, and your views have increased significantly. Although you post less, because I post a lot of TikToks, but they're all the same, just different products. But all my TikToks are technically the same. Yep. And so the thing is, when I was researching TikTok, people were saying that you need 100 videos for the algorithm to kind of cement what people want to see. Yeah. So after 100 videos, TikTok knows what you do. Yep. And then it will promote you to those viewers. But the problem is if people get bored while they're doing TikTok doing that, they're going to change what they do in the videos. So then the algorithm's going to get confused. Because if you're talking about property one day, and then the next day you're talking about e-commerce, right? Yeah. The algorithm, you're getting confused. So if you're not being consistent, so I think the consistency of what I've been doing has worked in my favour. It's like the, have you seen the guy serving up mashed potatoes? You haven't seen that? No. It's a really famous guy. Well, not really famous, but he's like famous in the UK, and he works out of a, he does jacket potatoes out of a, it's called the Spud Man. Right. He's got pink hair. Yep. And all of his TikToks are him talking to a customer, jacket potato, jacket potato, jacket potato. Millions of views. Millions of views. Yep. And he's doing the same thing every single day. And it's got to be the consistency. People know what they're going to see when they click on it. Yep. And the algorithm knows what to push it to. Yep. I'm pretty convinced of that. They'll never tell anyone how the algorithm works, but...
They don't, but
You can make assumptions.
it seems to be more transparent and predictable than Facebook because people are, well, I'm shadow banned, but again, it's the sheer volume of content on Facebook and the amount of stuff it can't show it to everybody and they want to monetize it. But the TikTok thing. So there's somebody asking, do you have any TikTok hacks for growth? That's actually you've just covered that. So that's one. I always found. You said opening mystery boxes are therapeutic, and if you look at social media and marketing in general, and that little dopamine hits, why we're addicted to phones, and the little notification, it's not what's in the mystery box, it's the anticipation of what might be, and it's not the message you get on social media, and again, the psychology of marketing and dopamine and the anticipation, it's anticipation, and that's what gives you that little rush. So people wondering what's in that box. Is it shite? Is that something that I would like? Is that it's like scratch cards. Paid £1, but I might win 100,000. Is that mystery box that I've paid 50 quid for got £1,000 thing in it? It's that mystery. Another thing I noticed you're talking about spuds, rug cleaning. You see this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't believe, because I said I'm too smart to get roped into TikTok. I won't let that algorithm tell me what I'm going to watch. When YouTube changed to shorts and the home screen changed to the shorts rather than the long format, I'm like, I'm not letting YouTube manipulate me to watch shorts, because your attention spans, smarter people than me noticed attention spans are lower, and it went from, I was on TikTok, I was on YouTube to 10, 15 minutes, 18 minutes for TED Talks, and then 5 minutes, then 3 minutes, and now it's 6 seconds. And I'm like, I'm not letting that. I want my old school, old brain of being able to focus. But then YouTube Shorts switch to the instant, and when you log on, you see that. But the one thing I got roped into watching, not necessarily on TikTok, is rug cleaning. And it's very therapeutic. I could sit and look at a rug getting cleaned. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to get clean and they'll move on to another rug. It's crazy.
It's
smart.
There's quite a lot of things like that, actually.
Smart entrepreneurial brains getting looked up. So one more tip for hacks for growing an audience.
Well,
consistency, you've said.
I mean, our biggest jump in our TikTok, which I think we're at like 16,000 followers today, but our views as what's more impressive. I think we're at like 2.4 million views. And we've only been doing it a few months. Our biggest jump is, it was unfortunate for them, fortunate for me. There was a company that got into trouble selling mystery boxes, who had quite a large following, 25,000 or so. And they were actually a stock company, like a wholesaler. And they thought, they just sold pallets, right? And they thought, oh, I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll sell some mystery boxes.
Yep.
And instead of doing it properly, I'm working out the numbers, unfortunately, they just shoved a load of Chinese rubbish that people wouldn't want into their boxes. And instantly, they got called out. And there was a lot of negative traffic because they sent out videos to, they sent out boxes to influencers with like 1.2 million followers. And in those boxes to the influencers, they sent out a Nintendo Switch, and in the other one there was like an iPad.
Yep.
So unfortunately for them, that is very, very misleading marketing.
Yep, for sure.
And instantly they had a load of apology videos go out, which means that the actual search for mystery boxes skyrocketed for about a week because there was all this publicity, negative publicity, but
Yep.
no publicity is any publicity is good publicity, as we all know. And we took that opportunity to message every single influencer that had a bad experience and send them one of our boxes. And as we did that, they got our boxes, and it took a negative into a positive, and we ended up getting all the traffic from their bad publicity to our TikTok page.
Nice.
And we kept it all.
Fantastic. And I actually put down influencers because tell me about the influencer in the following, because if you're looking at influencers with millions of followers on Instagram and things like that, well, they're going to be pretty expensive. They're just cashing in. They're going to have a very wide audience. What's the kind of sweet spot for you regards influencers, regards followers, and their demographics for, let's take your e-commerce business.
The demographics got to be the same, right? So we're aiming at people that kind of love bargains, do discounts, coupon codes, like to go to charity shop. Charity shop videos are really good. people that like to go to car boot and record their journey and like buy stuff. A lot of mums that kind of sell stuff on the side. They're our target. I mean, it correlates really well, and they're all of our viewers. Our viewers are 70% women, and our age range, our most popular age range is between 40 and 50.
So you've drilled down in your demographics. So when it comes to building audiences, the previous question that was there, I'm putting yours as EcomKings 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put that there. So guys, you can copy and paste that out the chats. Tips for growing an audience. Scott's narrowed down very niche audience, 70% female.
Yeah.
And between what ages?
40 and 50. Well, it's just anything below 30 basically is nothing. So that's less than like 5%.
So you then know what you then do that rather than trying to make content for absolutely.
Yeah, there's no point me doing funny content for a mature audience.
Yep. Cool. Very therapeutic. I would definitely go and put that TikTok back up. Definitely go and follow that. It's much more interesting than mine. I'm yet to get my thing would be serviced accommodation, because if you put property, it's millions of views, millions of hashtags. Too big a thing. So mystery boxes will be a niched thing compared to e-commerce.
Yeah, but the serviced accommodation, you have TikTokers that are like travel influencers, right? But they also do staycations.
Yeah.
Right? So our big thing with influencers is we can get an influencer with 1.2 million followers. We've got one in the pipeline with 1.2 million followers, and we don't have to pay him.
Yep.
We just have to give him stock.
Yep.
Because he's getting payment in the form that he gets the stock, which he's going to give away to his viewers anyway.
Yep.
And he gets the video that's getting loads of views. So that's how he gets his payment, is a video idea. Because you've got to think, TikTokers, they're pumping out 3 or 4 videos a day.
Yep.
They imagine how fast they run out of ideas. Like, I'm so glad I get to wake up, make the same TikTok every single day, because I do not have the creative capacity to be able to think of a new entertaining idea for TikTok every day, but they have to. Mm-hmm. So when you come along with a video idea, they're actually quite grateful, and they're quite welcoming to it as well. So going back to like yours, for example, I mean, I think it would be fairly easy to say to someone that specialises in staycations or someone that tours the UK, I see this bold guy on Facebook who goes round and he tours towns and gives them a rating, right? Someone like that, for example, you could choose a cute property somewhere and say to him, I'm going to let you stay here for 3 days. I'd love for you to do a review of the town and let me know what you think. And I guarantee you he would do it, and you wouldn't have to pay him.
By the way, Chloe, your sister, is an expert in this. Chloe does this very well with companies. She'll just, very much like you get pallets of mystery boxes, Chloe does fantastically well in getting us pallets of things. So if you're watching, Chloe, that's your next job, to get us some influencers. Final question on influencers. If you do quite well, you've got more than 10,000 followers, you've hit all the criteria for TikTok to start pushing you into their algorithm, get lots of likes, lots of followers for every post, lots of comments. And what about people using influencers to start off in TikTok? Would influencers be interested? Can people starting off with a couple of hundred followers with a vision outreach to influencers to help?
Sometimes. Okay, so a couple things. So sometimes we get people reach out to us asking to do a video, right? I'd say the main problem is we get people reach out to us that kind of think they're influencers, but they're not really. But they might be passable if they're a little bit more professional when they reach out to us. For example, like if they reach out via email. When we reached out to influencers, right, when we first started, we didn't have a big following. We were reaching out via email because our email is a professional email, right? It's not scottfensome@gmail123.net. You know what I mean? We have a professional company email. So we reached out via that. When that comes through into your inbox, you don't immediately disregard it like we do every other email that comes into our inbox, let's be honest. So that's what we did at the start, which helped us a lot. Now we have a following, we message them through TikTok.
Nice.
Because it's more convenient for them, because they can just click on our profile and go, they've got followers, we'll reply, which is the same as what I do on TikTok. And there's a trend going around at the moment of this one couple that they did a TikTok saying we've asked 100 of our favourite companies for free stuff for our new house, And we actually caught them earlier. We sent them a box like right at the start, and then all the other companies like Lidl and stuff like that
Yep.
started jumping on.
Yep.
But unfortunately, they created a wave of people doing the exact same thing that aren't influencers.
Yep.
And although we would love to give free stuff to everyone, we give away free boxes every single week, which is
Yep.
another thing we do to drive TikTok. Is we would love to be able to do that, but we would go bankrupt. I mean, we've had like over 100 emails of people asking for free boxes with the exact same template.
What was ours? Talking about free stuff, there is your sister. Your sister's on it already. Chloe is there. She's on it. Chloe, pop your email address in, please, if anybody is watching. When I started, Chloe did our business TikTok, so if you put that in, please, see if I can copy that. But Chloe, pop your email address in the comments. People can reach out. Here's the other thing. Chloe, what did I agree? Did I agree if you get the TikTok following up to a certain amount, I'm sending you and the kids to
It was 1 million, wasn't it?
1 million, which is very, I mean, I'll be happy with 10,000.
Yeah.
But 1 million, we'll drop that, Chloe, because I don't think I'll ever get 1 million. But if we get to 10,000, I think, what would you want? We're going to go to send you to Disneyland. So there's Chloe, chloe.f@pillowpartners.co.uk. Yes, and I agreed to Chloe. I was like, could you help me with my TikTok? I don't know anything about it. And she says, well, I'm very busy. She agreed to do it if I send them to her and the family to Disneyland. So,
Do I count as family there or not? No.
I think she's going to make sure you do it since you're coming up today. So, Chloe, if you want to send her to Disneyland, anybody watching this, definitely follow us. But anybody there that does want for us to help promote their business, then get in touch with Chloe. Chloe's our partnerships manager, does amazing things. So chloe.f@pillowpartners.co.uk, reach to her. She's our partnership manager. She's very good at what she does. And if you've got any products, we take them. I don't have any here, but we will do. And I'm not an influencer in any way, but we can promote things to our hosts, to our landlords, to our guests, to our tenants across the UK. So limited reach, but we can put things in all of our properties as well. So Milo, I think there was one question. I'm going to take it back to the e-commerce proper business rather than TikTok from now, and then we'll finish. How do you handle customer feedback and use it to improve your services? So mystery boxes, some people happy, they want to watch, some people unhappy because...
With the mystery boxes, 99% of people are happy. We do get unhappy customers, but unfortunately it's usually because they've misread or they've just impulsively bought something, in which case we don't like to make exceptions.
Yep.
Because otherwise it's not fair on people. Like if people have bought 10 boxes from us, right, over the course of a few months, and they would have got boxes that they didn't particularly like, but they wouldn't have said anything and got another box because they know they're not all the same, right? Everyone's completely different. So if a customer buys one box and then reaches out to us and says they didn't like it or there wasn't anything particularly good in it, unfortunately that is what you're buying. You're buying a random box, so we can't make an exception just because of that. But otherwise it wouldn't be fair on all of our other customers, and we have to make it fair. And we try and be as open as possible on TikTok and as honest as possible. I mean, I was doing videos I didn't do one this month, but since January up until now, I did one video a month where I went through our costs, our all of our costs, our shipping, wages, rent. I laid everything out in the video and then went through sales, net profit, and I laid everything out. And I was doing that every single month. And funnily enough, on TikTok, it was my worst viewed video every single month because no one actually cared. But it was just about me being honest with people. That's what it was. So
that doesn't want TikTok.
No, but they didn't like it. No.
Cleaning a rug.
They wanted me to shout at a customer. That's what they wanted. But
the one thing that keeps showing up is a German couple dancing to Abracadabra.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That's a trend now. They can get millions of views for doing, and they just keep making the same video every day with different clothes, and they get millions of views, and it's frustrating as me as a I'll say a solid business person that I can give you advice on how to start a property management company. You can do e-commerce, you can do good deals, we can win awards. The team do amazing things. We do loads for charity. We save lives. Nobody's interested, but everybody's interested in a German company doing a dance to Abracadabra and get millions of views to the same video every single day. It's the TikTokification of social media.
I've watched that video loads. So.
it just, that song, I go to sleep at night with your voice in my head saying, today we're opening another mystery box. And the Abracadabra song, Abracadabra. Anyway, so guys, listen, I have got some massive value out of Scott coming here, and he's came here, flew up to come in to do this podcast specifically. So I want to say thank you, and I want you guys to say thank you. Let's finish. If you have watched, you can't help be inspired by Scotty's story and the business advice for MD looking to get into e-commerce, a little bit of TikTok. This can make you tens of thousands of pounds. I would love you to support every single guest on this podcast. So I'm going to pass over to you. If the audience are watching, how can they do business with you? How can they buy a mystery box? How can they get a full box? Tell us your details.
So if you want to buy stock, you can go to ecomkings.co.uk. You can buy mystery boxes all the way from £10 all the way up to £200. And you can also buy pallets of stock. We have one on the website at the moment, but we're going to have more. They are more for traders. That's up for £1,700, but it's like £12,000 worth of stuff. So that's how you do it. And if you have any questions at all, you can reach out via email at sales@robertscotts.com, or you can fill in the form at the bottom of the website, and I'll send it to our email as well.
Cool. And our amazing team behind the scenes here, including Chloe, will put all the details on the social media, so we will bang in all your details. A final thing, MD looking to get in, any young entrepreneurs, we always want to help young people get into business that may think, well, you've got a big warehouse, obviously amazing achievements for 24 years old. Should MD be put off? What's some tips for just a final tip for a young entrepreneur looking to get into the world of e-commerce or even making money on TikTok? Just business ideas for young kids. What's one bit of advice to get into to do what you're doing?
My advice would be don't make excuses. I had so many friends growing up that wanted to do stuff, but every time they wanted to do it, they made an excuse. And it was like sometimes people do have genuine issues that cause roadblocks for them to be able to achieve their goals, but most people just usually think of an issue and make it a roadblock when it doesn't need to be. It's just something you need to mentally overcome. Yeah. And I think that's a massive problem for a lot of people, is just take more of a risk.
Our subconscious, often our greatest friend sometimes, but our greatest enemy, and it tells lies to you. Your subconscious is your enemy, just stops you from doing things. So great bit of advice, some fantastic nuggets here. We'll put all Scott's details here. Follow on TikTok, follow his mystery box unboxings. Guys, very, very therapeutic, much better than run cleaning and Germans dancing to Abracadabra. So thank you very much for your time. And remember, if you want to do business with this man, we'll put all the details in. We want to get 5 new customers from every single person that comes on the Pillow Talk podcast and make it worth their while supporting small businesses, doing some good in the community. Stop that money going to Amazon overseas and going to the big tech companies and funding billionaires' yachts. Give it to amazing entrepreneurs like this, because they're just going to spend it on the staff, local businesses, and putting the money right back into the economy. So we will let you go off to Ben Nevis. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you guys for watching, and all you guys that submitted questions. See you next week.